Ladies and gentlemen, power is neither given nor earned solely by virtue of good intentions. It is seized, maintained, and expanded by those who understand the nature of men and the subtle art of influence. To command others, to bend their will to yours, is a skill mastered not by weakness, but by keen insight, calculated strategy, and the willingness to embrace uncomfortable truths. First, control begins with perception. People follow what they see, not always what is real. Appear strong when you are weak. Appear confident when you are uncertain. Create an image so compelling that others willingly place their trust and loyalty in your hands. This facade is your first weapon. Never underestimate the power of appearance. Control begins with perception. In the theater of power, what others see is more important than what actually is. The eyes of men are often deceived by appearances, and those who master the art of crafting these appearances hold the reins of influence firmly in their grasp. You may possess strength, wisdom, and virtue, but if you fail to project these qualities outwardly, they remain useless whispers unheard by the crowd. Thus, your first task in manipulating and controlling others is to master the image you present to the world. To appear strong when you are weak is no deception, but a necessary survival skill. Strength inspires confidence and obedience. A leader who shows uncertainty invites challenge, and in the realm of influence, challenges can lead to downfall. This does not mean you must always be infallible or hide your vulnerabilities completely, but you must never let them overshadow the image of command you cultivate. Even if your foundation trembles, your outward demeanor must be steady and unyielding. When others look to you for direction, they must see an unshakable force, a harbor amid the storm. Confidence, similarly, is a currency far more valuable than many realize. People follow not the wisest or the most skilled, but the one who moves with assurance. Hesitation breeds doubt, and doubt is the enemy of influence. Speak with conviction, act decisively, and maintain a posture that says, "I know the path." When you walk into a room, the eyes should turn to you first, not because of your title or wealth, but because your presence commands attention. This presence is forged by the meticulous crafting of your outward behavior, your posture, your speech, your gaze, all designed to project the image you desire others to accept as truth. This art of crafting perception extends beyond physical appearance and mannerism. Your reputation is a powerful extension of this image. It is not simply what you do, but what others believe you do. Reputation precedes you like a shadow, coloring the way people receive your words and actions. Therefore, cultivating a reputation for strength, intelligence, and decisiveness, even if at times undeserved, is critical. Rumors, stories, and whispers can be guided and shaped to build this reputation. Use them as tools to elevate yourself above rivals, and sow respect or fear in the hearts of those who watch from afar. But control through perception is a double-edged sword. The mask you wear must be convincing, seamless, and consistent enough to withstand scrutiny. If the image fractures, if your projected strength is contradicted by your actions, or your secrets spill forth, your influence will crumble like a house of cards. Therefore, it is essential to maintain discipline over every aspect of how you present yourself, and to anticipate the ways in which others may attempt to tear down your carefully constructed facade. To manipulate perception is to understand that appearances are not static. They require constant maintenance and adaptation. What inspires respect today may provoke resentment tomorrow, if not managed properly. You must be nimble, adjusting your outward image to fit the shifting winds of circumstance, always ensuring that others continue to see you as the figure of authority and power they should obey. This may mean showing magnanimity to some, ruthlessness to others, or warmth and charisma when the moment demands. Each gesture, each word, is a brushstroke painting the portrait others use to judge your worthiness of their allegiance. Remember this: perception is not mere illusion, but a reality in itself. Men and women act upon what they believe to be true, not necessarily what is true. To control others, you must first control what they believe. Your power will be born not only from your actual capabilities, but from the image you so carefully and relentlessly cultivate. Master this, and you hold the key to the minds and wills of those around you. To manipulate and control others effectively, one must first possess a profound understanding of human nature. People are not blank canvases waiting to be painted with your desires. They are intricate mosaics of hopes, fears, ambitions, and weakness. To sway their will, you must peer beneath their surface and uncover the hidden forces that drive their decisions. It is not enough to know what they say or do. You must grasp why they act as they do, for only then can you steer their actions toward your desired outcome. Human beings are motivated primarily by self-interest. No matter how noble the cause or sincere the appeal, each person ultimately seeks what benefits themselves most. Recognizing this fundamental truth is the cornerstone of influence. Those who attempt to manipulate without appealing to self-interest are like sailors attempting to navigate the sea without regard for the winds and tide. You must learn to speak the language of desire in its many forms: the craving for power, the thirst for recognition, the pursuit of wealth, or even the yearning for love and acceptance. Each individual's motivations may differ, but they are never absent. Fear is another powerful lever in the machinery of control. Men and women fear loss of status, security, comfort, or life itself. This fear can be harnessed to prompt obedience and caution, for few will risk defying someone who threatens the safety they cherish. Yet fear must be used judiciously. Excessive fear breeds hatred and rebellion, while too little allows arrogance and disobedience to flourish. The key lies in calibrating fear so that it is ever present, but not overwhelming, a reminder of consequences without inciting despair. Ambition, often intertwined with pride and vanity, is also fertile ground for influence. Many crave advancement, recognition, or the simple satisfaction of seeing their names remembered. By offering opportunities for personal gain or by flattering their sense of importance, you can guide their actions without forcing them. Ambition is a willing ally, because it acts as its own motivation. A man or woman who believes they stand to gain by following you will do so enthusiastically and with little resistance. In this quest for control, it is essential to identify the specific vulnerabilities of those you seek to influence. People differ in their weaknesses. Some are easily swayed by praise, others by promises, and still others by threat. A discerning observer will take note of these individual traits and tailor their approach accordingly. One size never fits all in the realm of manipulation. Just as a skilled craftsman uses different tools for different materials, so too must you adapt your methods to the character before you. Listening is the tool through which knowledge of human nature is gained. Observe carefully how others react to different situations, what excites them, what troubles them, and what they long for. People often reveal their true motivations in moments of weakness, anger, or joy. Pay attention to their words, but more so to their actions, for actions betray intentions more faithfully than spoken promises. It is also critical to remember that human nature is not static. It changes with circumstance. What motivates a person in times of peace may differ from what drives them in times of crisis. A master manipulator must therefore remain vigilant and adaptable, continually reassessing the desires and fears that move those around him or her. By doing so, you maintain the advantage, always knowing how to press the right buttons at the right moments. Understanding human nature is not a passive knowledge but an active weapon. It empowers you to craft your influence with precision, turning vague hopes and fears into concrete tools for control. When you speak, act, or make decisions, you do so with the awareness of exactly which strings to pull and how tightly to pull them. This insight transforms manipulation from mere coercion into a refined art form, one that bends others' wills not through brute force, but through skillful orchestration of their deepest drives. Charm and deception are indispensable tools for anyone seeking to manipulate and control others. While truth and honesty may be held up as virtues by society, the realm of influence operates under different rules where appearances and perception often outweigh reality. To win the hearts and minds of people, you must skillfully wield both charm and calculated deception, using them not as mere tricks, but as strategic instruments designed to achieve your aims. Charm is the gentle veil that softens the edges of power. It disarms suspicion, builds goodwill, and opens doors that might otherwise remain closed. When people are drawn to you by warmth and grace, they lower their defenses, making them far easier to influence. A charming demeanor can mask your true intentions, allowing you to maneuver without provoking resistance. Yet charm is not simply about being likable or pleasant. It is a deliberate performance, a crafted display designed to elicit trust and admiration. It requires keen observation to tailor your mannerisms, tone, and words to the individual before you, ensuring that they feel seen, valued, and understood. Deception, by contrast, is the shadow that lurks behind the smile. It is the art of presenting a version of reality that serves your purposes, regardless of the underlying truth. This does not mean constant lying, but rather the selective use of half-truths, omissions, and promises made with careful time. People naturally want to believe what they hope to be true, and a master manipulator exploits this desire. By feeding illusions and managing expectations, you keep others aligned with your plans while concealing your true intention. The skill lies in balancing honesty and falsehood. Too much deception breeds distrust, too little leaves you vulnerable,
To manipulate through charm and deception is to understand the psychology of trust. Trust is earned not merely through truthfulness, but through consistency, reliability, and the emotional bonds you create. When you flatter, compliment, or empathize sincerely, or at least convincingly, you build an emotional reservoir that allows you to ask more, take more, and receive more from others. This reservoir buffers the inevitable moments when your true motives must be hidden, or when promises are broken. Without such a reserve, deception quickly collapses into betrayal and ruin. Yet one must never reveal the full extent of one's design. The greatest mistake is to lay all your cards on the table prematurely. People resist what they suspect is manipulation, so concealment is vital. Your acts of kindness, your words of encouragement, even your expressions of loyalty should be offered as gifts, not tools. Let others come to you willingly, believing in the genuineness of your intention. When the time comes to exercise control, the transition will be smoother, met with less suspicion and opposition. This balance between charm and deception is a dance of subtlety and precision. You must learn when to speak and when to remain silent, when to offer truth and when to withhold it. Like a skilled actor, you adjust your performance to the audience and situation, always aware that your ultimate goal is to bend others' will without breaking their spirit. When you succeed in this, you become not only a leader, but a master manipulator, capable of directing outcomes by guiding the perceptions and emotions of those around you. Remember that charm and deception are not static tactics, but ongoing strategy. Relationships require continual nurturing and adjustment. A once effective lie may become a liability if exposed. A charm that once disarmed may become an annoyance if overused. Constant vigilance is required to read the shifting moods and perceptions of others, to adapt your approach accordingly, and to refresh your facade before cracks appear. The best manipulators are those who never grow complacent, always renewing their masks and sharpening their words. Charm and deception form the twin pillars of influence. They allow you to walk among others, not as a tyrant demanding obedience, but as a friend, confidant, or benefactor, securing loyalty and trust. This power, quiet, subtle, and irresistible, is the ultimate weapon in the art of control. Master it, and you hold the key to guiding men and women to your will, often without their awareness. To manipulate and control people effectively, one must learn the timeless strategy of division. Unity among those you seek to influence or dominate is the greatest obstacle to control. When people stand together, their collective strength can challenge even the most cunning leader. Therefore, the key to maintaining power lies in sowing discord, fostering rivalry, and turning allies into adversaries. By dividing your opponents and those you wish to command, you weaken their ability to resist and increase your own influence exponentially. The principle is simple yet profound. A house divided cannot stand. When groups quarrel among themselves, their energies are consumed in internal conflict, rather than focused outward toward you. This infighting distracts, exhausts, and ultimately diminishes their power. Your role is to be the unseen hand that nudges these quarrels into existence, carefully placing seeds of doubt and suspicion where they will take root and grow. A whispered rumor here, a subtle insult there, an exploit of existing tensions, all are effective tools to foster division, without revealing your involvement. Divide and conquer does not mean creating chaos for chaos's sake. It is a deliberate, calculated effort to fracture opposition in ways that serve your interests. It requires keen insight into the relationships and personalities within a group, knowing who envies whom, who distrusts whom, and who seeks influence at the expense of others, allows you to stoke flames precisely where they will cause the most damage. Your influence becomes more secure not by brute force but by exploiting the fractures that already exist beneath the surface. This strategy applies not only to enemies, but also to those you ostensibly lead. Even loyal followers can become dangerous if allowed to unite too strongly or form their own faction. By encouraging rivalry or competition within your ranks, whether for favor, status, or resources, you keep potential challengers preoccupied with each other rather than with you. A divided house is a safe house, and a wise leader fosters this division carefully, ensuring it never escalates into outright rebellion, but remains a manageable tension. The power of division lies in its subtlety. It is not enough to openly provoke conflict. Doing so may unite your adversaries against you. Instead, manipulation through division is a shadow game played in the margins, innuendos, ambiguities, and half-truths that slowly poison relationships without clear attribution. When people cannot be certain who is responsible for the discord, suspicion and paranoia spread, further deepening the fractures. This confusion serves you well, as it paralyzes your opponents and prevents them from forming effective alliances. Division also makes your leadership seem indispensable. When people are at odds, they are more likely to seek out a strong hand to restore order, even if that hand belongs to you. By letting the conflict simmer without allowing it to explode, You position yourself as the only one capable of maintaining stability. This enhances your authority and makes others more willing to accept your guidance and control, even if begrudgingly.
It is essential, however, to exercise caution with this tactic. Too much division risks chaos that even you cannot control. The goal is to keep factions weak and competing, not to destroy your base of support or provoke outright rebellion. Balance is everything. Just enough discord to keep others distracted and dependent on you, but not so much that it fractures your own power or invites external enemies to capitalize on the chaos. In mastering division, you transform conflict from a threat into a tool of governance. Rivalries and suspicions become barriers to opposition and means to solidify your dominance. This strategy requires patience and subtlety, but rewards the strategist with a landscape where others are too busy fighting among themselves to notice who truly pulls the strings. When you succeed, you become the unseen ruler behind the scenes, commanding influence not through force alone, but through the exquisite orchestration of discord. To manipulate and control others, one must master the delicate balance of being both predictable. This may seem contradictory at first glance, but it is precisely this paradox that creates an aura of power and command. Predictability breeds comfort and trust, while unpredictability keeps others alert and uncertain, conditions under which your influence thrives. Those who master this balance become figures whom others both rely upon and fear, making them far easier to control. Predictability is the foundation upon which relationships and influence are built. People need to feel they can count on you, that your behavior will remain consistent enough to plan their actions accordingly. When your responses are steady and your principles clear, others develop a sense of security in your leadership. They begin to trust your judgment, believing that you are a reliable force in an unpredictable world. This trust lowers their defenses and makes them more willing to follow your lead without question. It also encourages loyalty, as predictability fosters a sense of fairness and justice. People resent chaos, but appreciate order, and your consistency provides that order. Too much predictability is a vulnerability. When your patterns are well known, opponents and even your own followers learn to anticipate your move. They can prepare countermeasures, exploit your routines, and ultimately undermine your authority. Predictability breeds complacency, and complacency invites challenge. If those around you believe they understand your every action in advance, they may begin to see you as weak, boring, or manipulable. Control slips away the moment you become too transparent. This is where unpredictability enters as a powerful counterbalance. By introducing unexpected decisions and behaviors, you keep others off balance and uncertain of your intentions. This uncertainty makes them hesitant to act against you for fear of provoking a reaction they cannot foresee. When people do not know what you will do next, they must remain vigilant and cautious, often deferring to your judgment, simply to avoid unintended consequences. Unpredictability creates an aura of mystery and power, reinforcing your position as the one who sets the rules and controls the game. The key is to be unpredictable within the framework of your established predictability. This means that your surprising actions should not undermine the core trust you have built, but rather enhance your image as a leader who is both steady and dynamic. Your unpredictability must be deliberate and controlled, used sparingly and strategically. When you break from expectations, it should serve a purpose, whether to punish, reward, or recalibrate your influence. Random or erratic behavior, by contrast, breeds confusion and loss of respect, which ultimately weakens your power. Maintaining this balance also means managing how you reveal your motives and intentions. By showing consistency in your values and goals, you assure others of your direction. But by withholding details of your plans or by shifting tactics unexpectedly, you prevent them from fully understanding your strategy. This duality keeps them engaged yet cautious, eager to follow but wary of stepping out of line. Unpredictability keeps your enemies and rivals guessing. When they cannot predict your moves, they cannot effectively counter you. They waste energy trying to prepare for scenarios that never materialize, while you conserve your strength and maintain the initiative. This psychological advantage is invaluable in any contest of power, as it forces others into a reactive posture, always one step behind. Mastering the dance between predictability and unpredictability makes you a figure of authority and control. You become the steady anchor in a sea of uncertainty, yet also the tempest that disrupts complacency. This combination inspires both respect and caution, two essential ingredients for enduring influence. By carefully calibrating your actions to maintain this delicate balance, you ensure that others remain both confident in your leadership and wary of your next move.
securing your power over them without overt coercion. Information is power, and those who control the flow of information control the minds and actions of others. In any attempt to manipulate and dominate, knowledge is the greatest weapon at your disposal. But it is not enough simply to gather facts. You must know how to manage, conceal, and disseminate information in ways that serve your purpose. Control over what others know, and crucially, what they do not know, allows you to shape their reality, influence their decisions, and maintain your dominance. People are often unaware of how much their perceptions are shaped by the information presented to them. Facts can be selective, narratives can be framed, and truths can be hidden beneath layers of distraction or misdirection. By mastering this, you can craft the story others believe, guiding their thoughts and actions toward outcomes that benefit you. In essence, you become the architect of reality, deciding which details to illuminate and which to keep in shadow. One of the most effective ways to wield information is through secrecy. Keep your intentions, plans, and true capabilities hidden from those you wish to control. When others cannot accurately assess your strength or strategy, they are forced to guess and hesitate, which weakens their ability to resist or oppose you. Secrecy creates a fog that protects you and enhances your mystique. The less others know, the more they must rely on you, trusting your words and decisions, because they have no alternative knowledge to guide them. At the same time, it is crucial to selectively release information that advances your agenda. Share just enough to build trust, inspire confidence, or sow confusion among your opponents. Carefully timed disclosures can manipulate emotions and perceptions, driving others to act in ways you desire. Whether it is a promise of reward, a warning of danger, or a subtle hint at your intentions, information is a tool to provoke reactions and shape behavior. Knowing when and how much to reveal is a skill that distinguishes the powerful from the powerless. Controlling information also means managing communication channels. In any group or society, rumors, gossip, and news flow through networks that can be influenced or controlled. By positioning yourself at the center of these networks, or by placing trusted agents within them, you ensure that the messages reaching others are those you want them to hear. This control extends not only to the content, but also to the timing and frequency of information, preventing harmful knowledge from spreading and amplifying messages that bolster your position. Furthermore, misinformation is a potent weapon in the arsenal of control. False or misleading information can confuse, divide, and misdirect opponents. When rivals are busy chasing shadows or correcting inaccuracies, their efforts are wasted, and their focus diverted from challenging your power. Misinformation can also manipulate public opinion, turning allies into doubters, and creating mistrust within opposing groups. The ability to plant and nurture such falsehoods without detection magnifies your influence and undermines resistance. It is also important to recognize that information control requires constant vigilance. In the digital age, information moves rapidly, and leaks or breaches can expose secrets or disrupt carefully laid plans. Therefore, maintaining control means continuously monitoring the flow of information, identifying threats, and swiftly neutralizing those who might expose your vulnerability. This often involves a combination of persuasion, intimidation, and strategic alliances to keep others aligned with your narrative. Ultimately, the mastery of information transforms you from a mere participant into a puppeteer pulling the strings behind the scene. When you control what others know and believe, you control their actions. This subtle but absolute power makes manipulation effortless and resistance futile. Those who understand and utilize this principle hold an advantage that is as enduring as it is profound, for knowledge is not just power, it is the foundation upon which all influence is built. Patience and timing are the invisible architects behind every successful act of manipulation and control. To wield influence without resistance requires not only understanding people and mastering tactics, but also knowing precisely when to act and when to wait. Impatience is the enemy of power. Those who rush reveal their intentions prematurely, give their opponents time to prepare, or squander opportunities that might have borne greater fruit with delay. Conversely, the master manipulator moves with deliberate calm, recognizing that timing can turn a simple act into a decisive stroke that shifts the balance of power in their favor. Time is the ultimate currency in the game of influence. To rush forward with demands or initiatives before the moment is ripe often results in failure, rejection, or backlash. People must be mentally and emotionally prepared to accept your influence. They must feel that your proposal or command is not only desirable but inevitable. This readiness is seldom instantaneous. It develops through a series of calculated steps, subtle nudges, and the slow erosion of resistance. By exercising patience, you allow these processes to unfold naturally, reducing opposition and making compliance appear as the only logical choice. Timing also allows you to exploit moments of weakness or distraction in those you seek to control. Every individual and group experiences cycles of strength and vulnerability. To strike when their guard is down, whether through personal turmoil, external crises, or internal divisions, maximizes your chances of success. Conversely, attacking when your target is alert and united is a recipe for failure. The wise manipulator observes the rhythms of power around them, waiting for the cracks to appear before applying pressure. This strategic patience ensures that your actions have maximum impact and minimal risk. Furthermore, patience enables you to build a foundation of influence over time. Control rarely springs forth fully formed. It is cultivated gradually through relationships, trust, and the accumulation of favors and debts. By investing time in nurturing these bonds, you create a network of loyalty and dependence that strengthens your position. Each act of kindness, each carefully timed concession, is a thread woven into the fabric of influence. When the moment comes to assert your will, these threads hold fast, supporting your authority and limiting resistance. Impatience often reveals itself through desperation, through demands made too soon, promises that cannot be kept, or attempts to force outcomes prematurely. Desperation signals weakness and invites opposition. People are quick to sense when a leader or manipulator is acting out of urgency rather than strategy, and they exploit this to their advantage. Patience, by contrast, conveys confidence and control. It tells others that you are not bound by their timetables or fears, that you see the larger picture, and are willing to wait for the perfect moment to strike. Moreover, timing is not solely about waiting for the right moment. It also involves knowing when to accelerate your actions, once the opportunity presents itself. Patience does not mean passivity. When the moment is right, swift and decisive action can overwhelm opponents before they have a chance to respond. This sudden movement, following a long period of apparent inactivity or preparation, often catches others off guard and secures your advantage. The skill lies in sensing the shift and moving with purpose, neither too soon nor too late. In addition, timing governs the revelation of your intentions and plans. Revealing too much too early allows others to counteract your move. Withholding information and revealing your hand gradually keeps others guessing and on the defensive. The deliberate pacing of disclosure creates suspense, uncertainty, and dependence on you for guidance. The controlled drip of information is as much a tactic of manipulation as any direct action. Ultimately, patience and timing transform manipulation from brute force into a refined art. They allow you to orchestrate events so that others act willingly and unknowingly according to your design. Mastery of this principle means mastering the flow of influence itself, knowing when to plant seeds, when to nurture them, and when to harvest the fruits. In the hands of one who understands this, power is not seized in haste, but cultivated with wisdom, ensuring that control is not only won but securely maintained. Remember this above all, true control is not seized through brute force or blatant commands, but through the quiet mastery of influence, through shaping what others believe, feel, and expect without their full awareness. It is the unseen hand guiding the course of events, the subtle whisper sowing doubt and loyalty alike, the patient strategist who waits for the perfect moment to strike. Those who understand these laws rise above mere leaders to become architects of destiny, bending the wills of men and women to their purpose, with a power that is both irresistible and unbreakable. Master these principles well, and you will hold a dominion not of chains and threats, but of minds and hearts. The world is moved not by the strongest or loudest, but by those who command the unseen currents beneath the surface. Be that force. Be the master of manipulation, the sovereign of control. For in this art lies the true power to shape reality itself. The choice is yours, to remain a pawn in others' games, or to become the player who controls the board. Choose wisely and rule with both cunning and resolve.